What's up, guys? I'm doing a little bit of an introduction if you haven't heard of me before. I'm Edge, and I'm one of the leaders at Puzzle Kingdom, and I've also done production work for various tournament production groups across the scene, such as Team TSD, who you've definitely heard of before, as well as Infinite Finesse, and even produced SFU's Raccoon Cup, which is a collaboration I did with Renge. As you can see, I've been around the block quite a bit throughout the community, so I figured that I'd weigh in after some controversy happened with last night's over-under tournament, over-under 2, which was a rank capped doubles event capped at U and SS ranks respectively. There's some accusations of sandbagging, so I decided to go in and watch the VOD and give my opinion on rank capped events in the state of the community. For the sake of keeping this video fair, and to keep the investigation process for Team TSD very cordial, I will not be including any of the clips where I reacted to gameplay or gave opinion on the status of the players in over under 2. If you must hear my opinion on this, I will leave a link to the Twitch VOD in the description of the video. What I will leave in here is my kind of state of the union talk to the community, where I talk about some struggles that TOs have been going through internally, as well as how the community can better suit itself for further expansion, what we can do in the future to make it better, and what we already love about our great community. Hopefully you all enjoyed the talk. Many people told me that I should upload this on YouTube, and a ton of people are watching live, so thanks if you are one of them. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. I do want to let you know this is quite long, so maybe as you're going to bed or if you have something else to do, pop this on in the background later. But if you're ready to commit to listening to the full thing, I highly recommend that you listen to all of it. Continue to watch. Thank you all for tuning in and considering this talk. It's very important to me and to a ton of other people who watched it. I'll see you all later. I just want to apologize to all the players who came out to Over Under for the fact that one of your favorite tournament series. It was my favorite Tetris tournament series to play in. I don't talk about it much publicly because I went to the last WPL in Columbus, Ohio, and I felt like many people would be like, "What? That's crazy! You enjoyed playing in rank cap doubles? You went to a LAN event?" But no, Over Under 1 was my best tournament experience. It is probably the best standard creative concept that's ever been brought in this community for competitive. And I just want to give a huge shout out to Renge for think tanking the idea and bringing it to life. Because it's I think the most fun gimmick, if you even want to call it that. I don't think it's a gimmick. I thought that minus smurfing is largely competitive that this community has seen. And this proves that the idea was at least underappreciated. So I just want to give some shout outs to Over Under, because it's a great idea and a great series. And now I want to talk about just the investigation. Don't harass any players. Don't harass Team TSD. Team TSD is going to do their best to investigate this and come to their own conclusion. I just looked through this to give my opinion to the community. So shouts to them for taking this so seriously. Team TSD's had a rough couple tournaments regarding player conduct. First, you have Zone Masters 3. Kazu ridiculously late to their winners finals or grand finals, I forgot, match. Moments away from being disqualified from the tournament. Shows up just in time. Diao, absent for an hour. During the latest Tetris Cup, which happened last week. Says nothing, leaving the tournament staff in confusion on how to handle the situation. DL ending up having to get double disqualified. But some members of staff thought that it could be handled differently. So what are you going to do when you have moments to act? When you expect your players to be there for your serious major tournament and they're not showing up? What else do you do? You have to come up with a quick solution. And then you have Over Under. potential smurfing and sandbagging, all top 8 players had to be investigated. So Hyperion, let me clarify what I said. It was how they DQ'd Diao. It was a debate between double DQing Diao immediately or DQing Diao and allowing them to have another 10-minute buffer to show up for their losers match. It was not a discussion on if, but rather how. And we've been through a lot in the community as of recently. You have these events tacked on with straight in the middle, the furry cheating scandal. Using a mod to change their keyboard's polling rate to get a faster time in sprint because, quote unquote, I wasn't improving enough. I'm just disappointed at the past month in this community. Players can do better for the TOs. And this is a consistent problem. And again, Renge is just stuck in the middle of all this. It's probably unintentionally affecting him the most. And he doesn't deserve it. He tries so hard to do very unique things to this community. And solutions will probably need to be made. I've been advocating for it for a while, but personally as a TO, over the past 6 months, I thought of quitting and rescinding my duties at least once a month, maybe twice. I'm being honest. I haven't told anyone this. But there have definitely been times where I just want to stop. It doesn't feel worth it. If players are going to not respect our hard work, what is the point in continuing? And yeah, every TO's talked about it. I just haven't spoke about it personally. And I'm glad that now more TOs are going to be more strict in their processes. It's something that I think we've needed for a while. But I just haven't talked to anyone about quitting myself. Because I've been a pretty big pillar. I've had to help out other organizations run their streams. Because I love certain members in this community, I don't think I can ever completely quit. Because I don't want to see people's projects fail just because someone's computer is having tech issues and they need someone to do the stream, and I'm not going to do it because I quit. You know? I want to at least be there for orgs and friends who need assistance, at least. But I also have my own ideas that I want to execute in my own events. And it's not time to stop. Because we're so early in this thing in the grand scheme of things. And I still have hope. It's just like the hope always shrinks. But I want to remind players to think about what happens, you know? Over the years, our block stacking TOs have spent thousands of their own dollars to put on these events at no return for a body of players. And for some reason, despite this body of players repeatedly being disrespectful to our TOs, we still keep going. Because we love the process of creating these events, outside of course, dealing with the problematic player. And at least for me, it's carried me on is the experience of going into a Twitch chat for a tournament and seeing all the happy viewers, the casuals who come out and enjoyed these events. They engage with our commentators. They engage with our production staff. Create fun community moments and memes to bond and share over. And it's not something I want to lose. It's not something I ever want to lose. Because we've created very unique moments, especially over this past year. This past year has been amazing for competitive block stacking. We've seen our first example of consistent large prize pools. We've been able to reward lower ranked players with a way to practice and get better through Underdogs Cup, TAWS, Raccoon Cup is a thing, and then over under. And I want to talk a bit about the philosophy of over under's creation. Over under was created with the philosophy of a coach-student relationship. It was meant to highlight this sort of unique bond that friends can have, where you see a direct, tangible result of people who are of people who are helping others improve. It encourages people to come out, reach their hand out, and help newer or worse players. And it's truly a beautiful concept and a beautiful thing when it works. Instead, greedy people who want their shot at a pool of $50 of Tetrio's supporter are instead trying to play in these tournaments. They're trying to take a fixed prize pool of an in-game benefit because they don't want to pay for it and support the developer themselves. I just want you guys to think about that. That this all could have happened because someone wanted Tetrio's supporter that they wouldn't pay for themselves. That this is how this could have happened. Saddest shit ever. I'll read it off because I don't want to show other messages. But I'll read off what you said. In my Discord last night, there was some support shown for Renge. And at first, before I woke up, he said, "Thank you guys. I hate this so much. I hate every part of this. Over Under is meant to be a representation of everything I love about this community. That's what it's meant to be, in all honesty. The competition part barely matters to me. I want it to be an opportunity for people to foster friendships and coach-student relationships and stuff like that, and build meaningful connections with other people. But seeing the tournament end this way, it makes me feel like I can't TO. Like I just can't handle this." And then later, when I woke up at like 5 in the morning, Renge and I had a long talk for probably about 2 hours, just about this. And I also want to show something else off. The thing that pisses me off the most. And by the way, Siloris, I was quoting Renge when I was reading that. There's something else I want to show. Let me find it in my... It's just like... Specifically this right here. People, for some reason, cannot find a way to take this shit seriously. Like these messages kill me as an organizer. And no hate to anyone there. This is just general public perception. I just wish it was different. You know? When we talk about this furry, the person who cheated a 49 world record by zero point 0.8 seconds is still allowed to interact in most communities, despite being banned from Tetria. They are still in modern Mino community. The largest fast block stacking overarching community server. Hosting major tournaments in this Discord. Very still allowed in this place. A lot of people don't seem to give a shit that they cheated the world record by so much. I initially thought that some people's attitude towards the investigation internally of furry was a little bit harsh. Like they were cheering way too hard for it to get exposed, but now knowing how major communities might handle this, it's I understand why there's a lot of internal debate on getting this out as fast as possible. Despite if it was a 23 or a 21, it is still at least 6 seconds of cheated world record progression. Actually, 7 seconds of cheated world record progression. And not even to talk about Maravir, who has cheated, has faked runs in other games, and is still allowed to play Tetria. I'm not shitting on staff or anything for not making decisions. Let me make this clear. But I think many of us personally believe that something should have happened. I have that opinion. I don't know what the something is, but I just at least thought that something should have happened. Other than letting them continue to play the game and make content. Scot-free. These are things that organizers have generally kept in, but I personally have had a scorched earth policy internally ever since about March, ever since we concluded Square One. I'm tired of giving my time and money to people who I'm tired of giving my time and money to people who will not respect organizers and other players and community leaders. We are afraid because, and by we I just mean certain people are afraid because we don't want to drive top players away from our events. But at this point I don't care anymore. I want respectful players in my events. Moose and I used to be much more lenient, but as of these days, we just don't care anymore. At least I am saying personally, if you're a shit tier human being, I do not want you playing in my event. You don't deserve my time or my money or other people's money in this community who are donating to prize pools because they want to support players. They want to support the good people in this community who've put time into dedicating their craft and they use it respectfully in tournaments. My goal for the end of the year is to have top player privilege completely eliminated from our larger majors. We're certainly too nice sometimes, and I think it needs to change, and I know we're working on it. But it's going to be hard because we have so many individuals here. I mean, Sign, I completely feel you. I don't necessarily ever directly interact with the community. I don't talk too much in Tetris Discord or whatever. I read a lot, but I just don't speak. Just because I want to know at least something, because I'm still passionate about like creating these events. But I still have to appreciate Sign for coming out and commentating so many events um, for the TOs. Because he is really he's really great broadcast talent. Chill dude, fun to speak to, and overall just great on air. I feel like a lot of people feel this way. Maybe because it's getting larger, and maybe because of some issues that need to be fixed. So many people in the back put these together, like you guys didn't even know. Moose is a lot of work. Renge does a lot of work. Jed, Dazer. Taw's crew literally has a machine to pump out all their tournaments. And which brings up another thing. No one really gets paid. I think every individual person operates on a net negative. Even I have been compensated for work, and I just spend it back on production value. Buying software, buying rights to assets, paying for art. No matter what we make at the end of the day, it all goes back into it from this. And we also just have really cool graphic designers in our community who don't only just make our assets, but they support our events. They consult with us, and they get to know us personally. Three that come off the top of my head. Um, Glitchy, Nitro, David. These are three very talented individuals at making art and graphics. They charge quite low for the quality of their work, if anything, if they charge anything. And they always contribute back to these events. Zyx is also another one. I think everyone undercharges, realistically. Just in the art scene in general, but especially to us, they undercharge. It's just something that's really appreciated for us. They just want to, they just want to see good production. That's true, Renge. It's for the love of the game, the love of the community. It's something that's very beautiful, honestly. It's a shame to me that that players just don't see the same passion as the people who work on the event. Some players do, some players don't. There are also other visual designers. You have Choco, you have other various graphic designers who aren't necessarily more known. They don't work on the most projects, but they still contribute into making different events great events. I think the TOS server shows like how much new people are kind of interested to get into this. It has been the gateway for many Tetrio age, or like I guess newer Tetrio age TOs and event staff. A lot of players are great. There's also a considerable amount that take it for granted. This is an important message from mine right here. As a game developer, all these problems have been killing me. I feel like this isn't the community I fell in love with. I love creating and I love contributing, but I've had trouble keeping the motivation to continue, given the trends within the community I'm seeing. I continue because of the wonderful people that are still within this community. I think these problems can be solved, but I'd be lying if I said it didn't affect me or my work. And for those who are not aware, mine developed a game called Tetra Online. First community fan game of magnitude to make it onto Steam. And then it got struck down by the Tetris company for supposedly mocking the visual expression of PPT. Illegal claim that they couldn't fight. And I'm glad that I was reminded of this because it created a project that spawned a sort of it kind of spawned a movement of different things. This is Revolution 2. The first large-scale charity event of the modern era of the community. This is why I love this community. We go through shit, but we come together for the common good, and this was the first time this happened at a major scale since Tetrio happened. So many people come out and support these events to 295 players. At this time, this was a crazy number. You see this with Tetrio opens, but back in the day of Gestrous, the 150 player brackets were probably a more common number, and 295 people, double or triple the traditional event of large scale, came out to play and support mine. And there's so much donated. It also did bring people together. Here's somebody else I don't really talk about, but Revolution 2, for that reason, is my favorite tournament to date. Still. I wouldn't call it just a super major for that era, Pidge. That is the second key super major, I'd call it. Revolution 1 being the first. Had so many players in that. and it defined future super majors. This is a great community for these reasons, but just some things need to be sorted out. Right now, we just have an overwhelming amount of bad, not enough good that's coming out right now. Things are kind of dire, which is why so many people thought about quitting recently. But I think it will get better. We just need to power through and push on. I just want to thank all the people here and everyone for sticking around with us through a difficult few months on the side of the organizers. Yeah, I remember that. I remember also I was just about to walk. And they're still here, and them and mine are working on the next Tetra Developer Studios project. Which I'm sure that we all cannot wait to see if you're not aware. After the DMCA, they're still continuing to work building a new game for us. They're still working for our community. Which even after that hit, it's crazy. I think we just all love seeing the community come together and work for a common good, and that's what we are seeing in these like charity events, the large productions. You had Square One, 800 English viewer grand final, largest ever for our scene. I will confidently say, without any Twitch promotion. I feel like as a scene, we're building good people. Glitchy, you talk to me after this. Start DMing me now. I'll look at it. But you see that Glitchy just brings up an idea. People in chat are already contributing. They're putting in. This is what I love about this. We're probably not going to watch the next set. I don't think it matters at this point. Who was this, Moose? If you can tell. That's crazy. I also do need to get back to you on the idea. I've just been working on a lot. And that is true. You know, we're all here. We're doing our best, but we're just trying to figure it out at the end of the day. You know? We don't have any professional experience in this. I'd say the most professional experience that our scene has is Bren studying for a communications degree and Moose having a visual communications degree and studying for a UX certificate. That's like the most formal qualification that we have in the scene for our production. But we've learned as we went and we made great work. Oh yeah, also Nuke studying for comp sci. I just want to give a thank you to everyone who supports, comes out for, genuinely enjoys working on our events. There are so many people in this stream. I thought we'd have like 20 people, and that would have made me happy. But for some reason, 80 people came out and watched this. They watched me sit and talk about this. I'm sure that everyone here enjoys that you guys to come out to hear about this. And to hear about, and to hear and want to hear what I need to say about this. What I felt I needed to say. This has also made me feel hopeful again. I'm very glad I decided to do this. I think we all know that it's still going to be good. You know, we're still going to be fine. I 100% word for word second what mine just said. I just hope that it's better going forward. Putting a little bit more work to make it clear to the players, just like what is, you know, what's a good method of acting and stuff, and like how we can keep going in the future, and how we can improve ourselves and our events and just the community. Make things better for everyone in the future as we continue to grow, because it's not going to stop. Like, there are thousands of people who actively play Tetra each day, as 6,000 players. We have a title that is reaching a mid to high level of relevancy Steam game. We're playing a block stacker. Millions of registered users. Hundreds of viewers and tournament participants. It's not been better than ever for us in terms of the reach. And in terms of the amount of members we have. The challenge is going to be making sure that community-wide things can happen, that we can coordinate them. We're all relatively in touch. And we all consistently communicate with each other. This has been talked about. Getting something done community-wide is hard, but I think after this point, if anyone listens to this talk, here's what people in chat have had to say, and what I've had to say. I think it can now happen. I'm confident in it. I'm confident in the fact that it can happen. I'd be ready to eat my words if it can't, but I'd really like for it to. And now that we're kind of wrapping up this discussion on community, I just want to talk about my thoughts on the rank cap. Some people have asked about this before, but I do hope that's something that all orgs can agree on, can kind of formulate. But on the idea of the rank cap, it is fundamentally a great idea. I think things like UC and TARS should continue to exist, potentially in a modified form. I don't think that any form of rank cap tournament should have any form of compensation to players who place. We've seen in UC that people are willing to go to lengths to smurf for money. And now we've seen that people go to lengths to smurf for potentially a mere month of touch for your supporter in a major event. Because we have this great idea, but when it gets to the point where you have an underdog's cup that receives $1,000 in donation, it's just like, should an amateur event be receiving this support when our pros take home pennies on the dollar compared to these amounts? That Underdog's Cup had a third of Square One's prize pool. Underdog's Cup's done so much for this community, but sometimes you just think, like, should it be skewed this way where our rank cap tournaments are starting to become more popular than building the pro scene? Stuff like this could be why people are inspired to smurf in the first place. You see a capped event, winners bring home hundreds. The tournaments themselves are great, but when you introduce compensation and potentially significant compensation, it gets dangerous. Because it helps build the community, but we also have to remember that, like, it's just going to create the wrong kind of incentive. We want to inspire players to compete in ranked cap events to get better and build the community. We don't want them to come in for a supporter prize or to get some Grubhub money, There's probably been a smurf in a ranked cap tournament every time. I think that ranked cap tournaments should have no prize pools or be limited to raffles. Because if you enter the event and you want supporter, if you want supporter and you want to play in an event, you're not going to feel pressure to perform. It's a random chance for everyone. Where in opens, where smurfing has less of an effect only on the seed number than the actual participants, and can be much easier detected that way, then that's where you want the incentive to perform. So I think from now on, these tournaments would be best to operate without any tangible prizing, directly paid out to winners in mind. At that point, I think it's a great tool, and it brings together the community like crazy. UC's consistently 300 viewers. Taz is probably going to be the next Twitch channel to get partner in the block stacking community. Regularly getting 50 50 viewer events on Wednesdays at like 12 p.m. Eastern Time. There's a lot of growth to be had with ranked capped events. They help out our scene a lot. It's contributed to a lot of new players, a lot of new tournament staff in TAWS. Like, you think of Azra, you think of Chaco, you think of Solaris, you think about all these consistent people over there. Even TAWS brought up David Scan, very prominent graphic designer, now working on the largest projects at Vietnam Tetris. This probably would not have happened or would not have happened as easy without him. Now we have tools like the Modern Tetris Tournament organized in Discord, which was originally a private server with 3 channels, just meant to get the major events from clashing. Now it's a resource for tournaments of any size to find staff on any block stacking game, to coordinate with other TOs, large and small, to relieve conflicts, to give everyone's event the best shot of succeeding, and a great place to share resources. Let me pull some of them up right here. Let me just go to the Discord real quick. Like, Wirt wrote an article for commentators about good microphone practice and guides on what microphones you should buy at what budget. Tells you details about the microphones. Very good guide. Big shoutouts to Wirt for writing that. Many guides like this are available. There's an entire TO Tool channel curated by Jed that has many tools in it for organizers. Team TSD's brackets and overlays for in-game flags are here. You can just download them for free. Guides to use Streamlink to integrate restreaming or Twitch restream into your OBS, available for free. Dazer's secret sauce is here. Video cutter scripts are here. Challenge seeding extensions. The Underdogs Cup guessing bot is available in this server if you want to use it for predictions in your own events. Many different seeding tools. Automatic ways to use FFmpeg to cut tournament VODs. There's my favorite one. Jed wrote an article on just how to run a tournament. You have this entire article. You can read it. It'll tell you the best practices for running your event. I'll drop a link. Ed's already got it for me. I haven't used this new Twitch feature. Join that Discord if you're interested in TOing. Learning more about our tournaments. Want to start events yourself? Want to help other people with their events? That is the place to be. All the major TOs are in there. All the growing TOs are in there. That's the place to be. And we are very strict. If you're here to troll in the server, you will be banned. You'll just be out of there. We time people out for months just for messing around. This is a serious place to get work done. Be positive and contribute to the community. Because I think we're all collectively tired of taking shit. Paused in a lot. Team TSD. Origins in Jester's Cup. Modern block stacking competitive would not exist today without Team TSD. They brought it up from the ashes. So huge shout outs to every single member of Team TSD for being a founding member and keeping it going. You have Puzzle Kingdom, which I'm a part of, raising the standards of production. Fellow UC1 alumni, Renge, myself, Ice Dynamics. So many people from that tournament just work on stuff now these days. You're allowed to join as well because it has resources in there for commentary. It's just a good place to chat about events, give ideas for events, logistical stuff. It's all in there. I wouldn't say you necessarily need to be willing, but if you just want to learn more about the process, you want to potentially pitch in, that's going to be the place to go. Now that we're here, I just want to see if you guys have any questions for me about my opinions about like TO stuff before I head off, because we have a lot of people here. I'm sure some of you guys are probably curious about something. But again, if you want to learn more about the process of TOing, log into TOing, commentating, join that server. You'll learn a lot from being there. The best of the best are there in event production. There's so many good resources. I mean, you can give yourself a volunteering role. Volunteering is a very diverse thing. You just be giving advice. Glitchy commentary would be based. Have you seen the famous Gen Drag fan Let's Go clip? We like loud commentators. Make the offer at least once a month. Based. Yeah, you gotta know some things. You have a clear voice. There are lots of things to do. But if you have the game knowledge, if you have a good speaking voice, the other parts can be easy to pick up. I'm confident that anyone could do it if they want to commentate. We always need more commentators, guys. As a TO, it's so hard. It's so hard to get commentators. Oh no, Taz does it. So hard to get like consistent casting where people care. How people come with term ideas is over under? They just get an idea. They're like, what if we get, what if we get doubles going? They lab. Come up with an idea. Balance test. Push the event. Yeah, there's lots of workshopping. I am going to go through downloading the entire VOD. I'm gonna cut the talk. I'm not gonna show any of the cheating stuff. I don't want to cause conspiracy. So yeah, I'll be putting this up onto YouTube. The VOD will stay up. It'll go on YouTube. And yeah. Just wrapping things up. Thanks to everyone for stopping by. Really means a lot that so many people would come by to hear what I have to say. So I did take this opportunity to speak on behalf of many people. I'm glad that they let me say things for them. I'm glad that people would take my word in the community. Just quick shout outs again to Team TSD. Do so much for the community. It's unfortunate that they've had a rough month with these events. It'll be better in the future. We're all going to hang in there. And we're just going to continue to make better and better productions. I really appreciate everyone for coming out and listening to this. It's just, we're all so grateful for this, and I'm very glad that people came out to hear this. Spontaneously posted something at 6 in the morning. I was even late. I accidentally fell asleep. And there were still 80 people here watching me form an opinion as a TO about the situation that happened in OU, and then my further talk about the community. So I want to thank you all again. I'm very optimistic about the future, of course. I'm glad that I could provide insight through this talk and through looking through this. I'd like to think that more people were here for the talk than hearing me talk about some guy potentially smurfing it over under. I'd like to think that that's why more people are here. Thank you all again so much for watching this. It's been a pleasure. If you're curious to learn more about me, I stream often here, and of course, just check out Team TSD, Puzzle Kingdom, all the large tournament organizers. So it'll mean a lot to us if you come out and support our events. Team TSD stuff always cooking up. We have Sakura Blended Puzzle Kingdom. We just love experimentation. That's the PK invite. It's Team TSD's Discord. Support our TOs, boys. There are so many more that I could link. Get a TOS server. This is TOS invite. I think that's all from me. I don't know if there's anyone I should raid after this, because it's a more serious stream, so I might just leave it here. We'll raid Dow. For those of you who don't know, Dow was the commentary carry of the Jesters Cup era, held their own very large Jesters tournament. Go support Delicious, old age community member. We love this guy. Dalmaz comps or something. I don't know if we'll ever experience him again, unless they both come back to commentate. Please go show Dal support. It'd mean a lot. I'll see you all later. But it's another stream, another event. Appreciate you all. Have a good rest of your day.